Amélie Mauresmo is remembered as the world's #1 tennis player, the 2006 Wimbledon champion, and the woman who brought pride back to French tennis after nearly a century of waiting. But very few people talk about the younger version of her. The girl was mocked as half a man under the bright lights of the Australian Open, who left home because her family would not accept her true identity, and who endured a marriage that ended in accusations of emotional abuse during a divorce trial in Paris. Yet after all of that, she did not just get back up. She stepped into a completely different and far more intense arena. She became the first woman ever to direct a Grand Slam tournament, faced fierce controversy over gender equality, worked to reform the entire Roland Garros system from the inside, and built a powerful new legacy for French sports. What made a girl once considered mentally weak become the leader of one of the world's most prestigious sporting events? That is the extraordinary story of Amélie Mauresmo, a woman whose greatest achievements came not on the court, but long after she put her racket down for good. Amélie Simone Mauresmo was born on July 5, 1979, in a quiet suburb west of Paris. Her father, Francis, was an oil company engineer, and her mother, Francie, taught elementary school. Amélie grew up as the youngest child in a modest but comfortable home. The truly defining moment of her life came in the summer of 1983, when she was just 4 years old. The whole family sat together watching the Roland Garros final between Yannick Noah and Mats Wilander. When Noah won, all of France erupted in celebration. But little Amélie walked quietly up to the television screen, pointed at Noah lifting the trophy, and told her parents, "I want to hold that trophy too." 1 week later, she was standing on a tennis court for the very first time, swinging a racket longer than her own arm. Amélie turned professional in 1993 at just 14 years old. By 1996, she had won the junior title at Roland Garros, the very tournament she had dreamed about as a child. The ITF named her Junior Player of the Year, and the French media began calling her the Steffi Graf of France. Then in 1999, ranked just 29th in the world, she stormed to the Australian Open draw, defeating top players including Lindsay Davenport before falling to Martina Hingis in the final. The world had officially taken notice. However, the spotlight quickly turned harsh. Shortly after that tournament, Amélie publicly came out as gay, the first top female tennis player to do so while still actively competing at the highest level. Martina Hingis publicly called her half a man. The media piled on with cruel nicknames. Amélie said nothing. She went back to work. From 2000 to 2005, she stayed consistently in the world's top 10, but critics repeatedly called her mentally fragile whenever she stumbled at Grand Slams. Then in 2006, she silenced every single one of them. She won the Australian Open and then Wimbledon, becoming the first French woman to claim that title since Suzanne Lenglen in 1925. The WTA named her Player of the Year. She had her answer, and she never needed to say a word to deliver it. By the end of 2009, injuries had worn her down, and Amélie retired from professional tennis at just 30 years old. But that was only the end of one chapter. After retiring, she coached top players including Andy Murray, a landmark moment since very few women had ever led elite male players on the tour. In December 2021, she was appointed tournament director of Roland Garros, becoming the first woman in history to run a Grand Slam. It was a historic achievement, but it came with enormous pressure. From 2021 to 2025, only 4 women's singles matches were scheduled for the coveted night session, and in 2025 alone, not a single women's match appeared in prime time. All 37 night slots went to men's matches. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, Ons Jabeur, and IJ Swiatek all spoke out publicly. Former player Pam Shriver called it painful and disappointing. The world asked how a woman who had once suffered gender injustice on the very same courts could allow this to happen. Amélie did not hide. She acknowledged the problem openly and explained the commercial reality of broadcast commitments and match duration. She also proposed that women's matches adopt a best-of-5 format in later rounds to increase entertainment value and broadcast viability. The debate continues, but her willingness to confront it directly and push for structural solutions from within says everything about who she is. Outside of tennis, Amélie lives quietly in Geneva with her 2 children, Aaron and Aya. She drives practical SUVs, wears baseball caps at the local bakery, and keeps a low profile by choice. Her estimated net worth is around $8 to $13 million, built largely through career prize money and brand endorsements with Nike, Head, and Reebok. She does not spend it on luxury. She invested in stability, privacy, and peace for her family. She also works with Peace in Sport, an organization that uses athletics to create educational opportunities for children in disadvantaged communities worldwide. In 2015, Amélie was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. It was a well-deserved honor. From a 4-year-old girl pointing at a television screen and declaring her dream to becoming world number 1, winning Grand Slams, coaching champions, and now running one of the greatest tournaments in sports history, Amélie Mauresmo has built a life that goes far beyond anything a trophy could measure. She never needed to be the loudest person in the room. She just needed to keep moving forward, and she always did.